So I came across a very interesting story. It's also very sad, so I'm sorry for that. But back in March of 2018, an 11-year-old girl accidentally dropped an apple from a balcony off of the 24th floor in her apartment building in China. And at that exact moment when this apple fell, that's when this grandma, she was taking a walk
Oh shit!
apartment building
And it hit her?
with a 3-month-old.
Oh.
And this apple landed on
the dog.
on the 3-month-old baby's head.
And was it really an accident?
Just adding characters to the stories. I don't know.
As a kid, I mean, I still love throwing shit off balconies.
No, so she said it was an accident because at the time, this 11-year-old girl was trying to feed their family dog while
an apple.
holding an apple.
Oh.
And that's when something happened, but she accidentally dropped the fruit, and that's when it ended up landing on this baby's skull.
That's like Isaac Newton.
Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah. And
Gravity
that's-
exists. Very similar.
So tragically though, this baby, she suffered severe head trauma, skull fractures, ruptured blood vessels in the skull, and traumatic shock.
How long does it take for an infant's skull to become solid? Because it comes out like all mushy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 3 or 4 pieces, and it's not fused together
No
yet.
matter how light that apple is, the higher it drops from.
Do they have Washington apples out there?
It must have been a Fuji
Was
apple.
it a Granny Smith apple? You fucking dicks.
Different apples have different velocities.
I hope it's not a green apple.
True. Different mass.
Yeah.
Density, yes.
Green apples seem harder for some reason.
They are harder. They're harder to bite into.
And Washington apples in China.
They're a lot soury.
True. Yeah, it depends on how rich this family is. Yeah.
Is the baby okay?
Well, what ended up
sound like
happening? What ended up happening was that this baby underwent surgery to stop the bleeding in her brain, but she remained in a coma.
Oh, fuck.
And that's when the baby's parents were told that if she were ever to wake up, the right part of her brain would most likely be clinically dead. So
She wouldn't be very creative.
I don't know. Is that the creative part?
I think so.
Left brain, right brain?
She might be really good at math, but not really good at art. She could do rocketry.
True.
But the story here, I mean, that is tragic, right? But the story here is the fact that the 11-year-old little girl's parents they're the ones that are having to pay a huge price.
How did they even find out that it came from that fucking building? That apple came from, you know?
Because what they did was they got the apple, they took DNA samples from it.
They saved the apple.
They went through the whole building
Whoa.
and tested people in that building until they found the 11-year-old little girl.
Wow.
And so it turns out that this girl,
So, like, she bit into it?
was alone in the apartment. And so her parents ended up taking responsibility for this. Obviously, it's an accident, but their child was responsible for it.
How do
Which
you?
also means they beat the living shit out of her.
Yeah.
Oh, poor little
Chinese
girl.
style.
So then they ended up paying the baby's family initially 30,000 yuan, which is about $4,700. But then the baby's medical bills kept growing, and so it ended up coming out to 130 yuan, which is about $20,500. So then the parents paid that. But then now, a couple years after this freak accident, the 11-year-old girl's little family was now ordered to pay the toddler's parents 1.85 million yuan, which is $261,000, which has sparked an interesting debate on Chinese social media about,
They paid a lot.
so there's people's opinions of well, they paid the price, it's a tragic accident, this is no one's fault, it wasn't malicious, the medical bills have been paid for, whatever.
Only that little girl knows if she was malicious.
Right. But then other people were like, well, the parents should be paying for that. Why the fuck did they leave the little girl alone? She shouldn't be on the 24th story all alone with something that she can throw over and obviously cause harm like this, so.
Dude, this whole family, when they see apples now, they're like, fuck.
Fuck.
Part of my brain when I read this story is if I was an 11-year-old and I was up on a high rise.
I'm throwing shit for
Yeah,
sure.
I'm always curious. Even if I'm not throwing stuff down, part of my brain's like,
Your parents didn't teach you.
what if I just, but like, there's still this what if part about your brain. It's just like, what if I just dropped this?
Have you
You're a
done it?
shithead too, you know?
Because your family's from Hong Kong. There's skyscrapers everywhere.
Yeah, but I don't think any of my families in Hong Kong have balconies to walk out to.
But if they did, you would.
I drop shit all the
Yeah,
time.
I'd be looking down, straight down, and be like, what happens if I just did this? I don't know if I would do it, but I mean, I could imagine being 11 years old, being by yourself with an apple in hand on a balcony. What are you gonna naturally be curious about, you know? And so part of me is like what Bart's saying, like, did she do it? Did she do it?
I feel like
Or did it fall, you know?
Because I feel like if it was intentional, that means. If it was intentional, then that means this family must have recently moved in there because she, like, it must have been a new thing if she wanted to intentionally do that. Like, whoa, we're so high up here, what would happen? You know, like.
Maybe it was the first time she ever had an apple in her hand. She's like, oh,
First time she was alone in the
Or
apartment.
she's tall enough to see over the balcony
I
from
want to
us.
criticize you, Casey, but I went down a hole during quarantine and I watched a video of a fucking bunch of dudes chucking watermelons off of a dam, and it was sick as hell to look at.
Didn't it smash?
Yeah, hell yeah. Smashed into a million fucking pieces.
I mean,
Sick.
just
slow
last
motion.
year.
That's really satisfying.
Well, they let it impact, and then they did the slow motion 4 or 5 times.
I mean, Mark Rober threw a boat off of a tower into a trampoline.
Well,
I saw a car get a trampoline. I saw that one.
Yeah, Mark Rober.
That shit was crazy. That was in related vids. I definitely clicked on that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you bet your ass.
Algorithm worked for you.
Yep, sure did. Oh, you know what's funny is that, well, it sucks that because it hit a baby, they go and test the entire fucking building. Everyone gets tested, all this shit. If that hit a homeless guy, they're like, look, apples fall from the sky all the time. Isn't that crazy?
True.
It's because the homeless guy wasn't suing. So this family probably sued, right?
Oh,
That's
right.
probly why.
Well,
all
no,
this
but
shit went
I would
down.
imagine the police, like, who are the ones who found out, like, are the ones who were able to test all these people and all that shit.
True.
I wonder if the grandma feels bad for not being able to protect the baby.
Probably. I think.
Oh, like the baby's literally in her arms. Like,
So the baby was in the arms and it went like that?
Or was it in a stroller?
I was like, it could have been me.
in the arms of the grandmother.
Oh!
I don't think it would hurt the grandma.
I mean, at
Fuck yeah, it
24,
would.
I mean, it would. I mean, it probably won't.
It would just be like, ow, and that's it.
What if it was the grandma's fault?
24th
There's
floor.
terminal velocity, so it's probably after like 5 floors is the same as 20 floors.
What if it was the grandma's fault where she was holding the baby and it would have missed, but just that last second she was like, just scratched her face.
And then she moved the baby.
I'm trying to figure out who feels guilty, and it could be.
People take
Actually,
guilt
the
all the
grandma.
time.
Guilty. They're like,
know-
why the fuck was my head there?
Do we know how itchy the grandma's face was that day?
That's a good question.
Do we know if the grandma was straight?
Yeah, was she a lesbian?
Was she a lesbian?
Why?
What?
Yeah.
It was an earlier video.
Joe reference. Joe always asks these things.
No, that's not. Doesn't make sense.
I'm glad Steve got it.
Oh, of course.
Man, that sucks.
Sad, man. So sad.
A lesbian.
So sad.
You guys are dumb. But yeah.
Is being a lesbian illegal in China? Now that's a joke question.
That's a true question.
True.
Just because it's related to China.
No, because you know how some countries being gay is still super illegal?
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's a lot of
there's
fucking
a picture
money.
of the building, the apartment complex.
I already deleted it.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Damn, you just deleted it. You didn't just like close it. You fucking deleted that shit.
No, I deleted the whole folder. It was in there. Okay, here.
Can we see the apple?
I don't have
Building?
There's a building.
the apple.
That looks like LA.
It does. Oh, there's Chinese words right here though.
Oh, dude, do you know there's full-on cities in China that's like,
Paris.
yeah, looks like Europe and shit like that?
Because why?
They just wanted to build a city that's the replica of a European city.
Sick.
And then it's like Disneyland. So they just built it to look like that, and there's no one living in there yet.
Wow.
I know, right?
Well, yeah, because they tried getting people to move in, but no, everyone was like, I don't want to live there.
Oh, really? Because it looks like
They're afraid
Paris.
of apples?
No, because they're also saying that the people that do live there, they have constant problems because it was built so quickly that it's not even the best.
It's like
quality.
shitty.
Like the walls are falling
They don't wait
apart.
for the glue to dry.
Exactly.
Just start adding other more shit, and then just.
How did we take such a horrible story and turn it into a positive.
That's your job. I don't know.
Okay, I got a pitch.
The grandma's a lesbian.
I love that.
Good job, Nelson.
So what are other terrible things that are happening right now that we can make into a positive? Okay.
Did it have to do with apples?
It could be anything. I got a pitch though because the 2 times this got brought up today, where people might say to you guys in particular, go back to China. Is there a very rich province perhaps in China where people could say very specifically, hey, go back to the northern Shanghai province of China because you look like a very wealthy man.
Oh, thank you. There's a lot of rich places in China, I think.
You should still get offended because he's like, I'm not fucking rich.
Hey, what the fuck? I'm not.
That's like saying go back to Beverly Hills.
It's still a bad thing. Yeah, it's funny how no matter what you do.
Regions, right?
That's kind of a compliment, actually.
That'd be sick.
That's the kind of stigma I feel when I travel around the world. Is like when you go into a store, like in Europe or whatever, and they see that you're Asian, they're already kind of like, oh, he's Asian, he's Chinese, he's probably Chinese. He's probably got money. He's probably English. Yeah.
And he's like, oh,
Yeah, fucking American idiot.
It's even like that at the airport. You know, if you go to like airports and you walk by and you walk into a store, they give you all kinds of like crazy service. And the minute they hear that I sound like American, they're like, oh, I'm supposed to have money.
Yeah, they back off.
he's one of those broke ones.
Yeah, it's like, hey, Tiff, walk further away from me. So I can feel rich for just a split second.
That was me in Italy. Because
Really?
me and AK, we were getting treated nice. But then once you and Deanna showed up, they started treating us like shit.
Oh,
We were
yeah,
like,
that's
"Oh,
true."
great."
Why, did you show up looking all ghetto?
Because they thought you guys were like the native Italians.
Yeah, they thought that we were actually
AK
Italian.
is Italian. She can pass off as Italian, and then AK's wife is Filipino,
Filipino.
and I'm Chinese. So it's like
Yeah.
then the Asians showed up, and then
They're like, they're married to these tourists.
yeah.
I love how the entire world is institutionally racist as fuck.
Oh, absolutely.
Fuck yeah.
I have never been to a place where those people are not racist.
Did you guys hear about the McDonald's story? About McDonald's kicking black people out of their
What?
China.
restaurant in China? Yeah.
There's a lot
What?
of racial stuff in China right now because people are like the rumor is that like black people caused coronavirus.
So they're not blaming Wuhan, they're blaming Africa.
Yeah,
The Chinese government's trying to blame everybody else right now.
Every group of people trying to blame someone else.
Yeah.
So
Damn.
So they're well,
Chinese people already have like a certain, well, I don't know all of them, right? But there's already a thing where they're racist against black people. Like Hollywood isn't as likely to make or to advertise movies starring black actors in China because they're less likely to get like theaters filled because
Do
of
you
it.
think they know The Rock is black?
I don't think they know.
Because they had a whole movie of him saving a humongous
yeah.
tower with one leg, and he's black.
because he's one of those like one of those racially ambiguous people that you're like, I don't know, you could be black.
He's like how Tiff looks Italian in Italy.
True. It's anything and everything.
Like Jaimin Hansu can't go to China and be like, hey, I'm racially ambiguous.
Is that how you pronounce his name?
I think so. I don't know.
I think it's Digimon, isn't it?
Digimon.
Digimon Hansu. Sorry. Bart corrected me. Thank you, Bart.
Is this an MMA guy? I don't know.
No, he's an actor from.
He's the black guy in the beginning of Guardians of the Galaxy. He was like, I'm Star-Lord. And he's like, who?
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, that guy.
He was in almost.
He's a Blood Diamond.
Blood Diamond.
Oh yeah.